So bring your own device is another option you will hear very often spoken about. It gets into the weeds with everything Ann's talking about. What are we going to do with our policies? What are we going to do with the new state policy that says if kids do things that they're not supposed to on our internet while they're here accessing our servers and things, we're supposed to confiscate their devices. Well, obviously, you're not going to take away their personal device that they bought from home. And another issue that comes up with that policy is what do we do then if accessing the curriculum is only through the device? If you can't get to your English text without getting to to a device, we have other issues we need to address as a board in terms of that, and as a school district. So we have to worry about that. It will save us in costs. Districts who are using Bring Your Own Device are finding about half the students will bring their own device from home. That includes laptops, tablets, phones, all the different kinds of devices you would imagine. That requires on our part some extra work to make our network able to handle anything that walks in the door, and to make us compliant with the state rules that those devices, even though they're personally owned, are filtered just like any other student device is filtered when they come onto our campuses. So that requires some work on the back end by our IT department on a constant basis to make sure all of that side of things works very effectively. And I can tell you we have the technology to do that right now, but we do not have the manpower to make it happen. That's been our issue. So we have for some time been acquiring the filter systems, the network devices, the things that will give us that kind of control over devices in our schools. But the manpower needed to maintain that for a day-to-day basis is not a reality for us at this moment. Bring your own device is also very positive because it is the quickest way to get to this 1-to-1 ratio in your school. So if you're ready to go there, if you've done the staff training and things you need to do, opening up for Bring Your Own Device will get us there very quickly. I think I've covered the cons except number 3 there, where I put equity and access, and we need to think about that. Just because I allow students to bring their own devices doesn't mean they'll always have the best device to work on our system. And in other cases, some students will have better devices than we could ever provide or than anybody else in their class. It gives them a distinct advantage over their peers, the type of device that is in their hand.
But they currently have it when they go home anyway.
That is correct. I'm just saying we need to, as a school district, be aware of the equity and access issues. Because if I have the clunky device that gets kicked off the internet when all the faster, better ones get on, I'm at a loss as a student. I don't want to create an education gap based on the quality of the device in the student's hand. So we need to be able to evaluate that and be on top of that.
I had an experience with my child recently that, because my children do not have smartphones, they're probably not very happy. I just announced that in public board meeting, but the teacher said the first person that can look this information up on their smartphone gets extra credit, 10 points. And they came home and told me that, and I just went, that completely is not right. Just because they don't have the advantage of having a smartphone, they were denied the opportunity of looking the information up on their phone. So I can see what you're saying with that.
The teacher was just trying to get a question answered quickly so the class could move on.
Exactly. I completely understand that.
By taking that approach, we've created an equity.
Yeah.
So we have to be aware of these things.
And and I'm grateful that you are aware of it, because it.
You would almost have a policy for it. It's okay if this is the standard device that the school has, and the student has anything less than that, then the student needs to use the school device to make.
And we can enforce that as long as we pay for it.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what we have to get into on that side of things. So we really have to think in those terms.
Because we will have some kids who can't afford anything.
As a school district.
There will be some kids who can't buy anything and will have nothing.
That's correct.